I just came back from an IRS conference called CERCA, where companies come together to interact with the IRS about how we communicate electronically and try to improve the entire tax compliance system. We started participating in 2023. The IRS is very guarded in how they interact with the public, and everything involving electronically gathering your information from the IRS to solve tax problems, to respond to letters and notices, the Office of Appeals, audits, everything involving electronic communications with the IRS. This is the industry group that they network with to discuss that. It's a focused industry group that has been selected to interact with the IRS on these matters. Frank Bisignano, the CEO of the IRS, came and spoke. We have the Erin Collins, the National Taxpayer Advocate, came and spoke. We had directors from numerous departments in the IRS spoke to us, some of them via Zoom. They came, they spoke to us, they told us about what they're doing. One takeaway from that is that as opposed to prior years when I've attended, CryptoTaxAudit was the only crypto related firm at this meeting. There had previously been representatives from the game calculation companies, but as of now, in 2026, they've all disappeared. They're no longer engaged in interacting with the IRS at that level and trying to improve electronic communications. That's concerning to me because the 1099 DA is a form of that electronic communication, and it was highly discussed in prior years. But the 1099 DA, as it was rolled out here this year, experiences significant shortcomings, which must be addressed. And our committee is the group that would address it. But I was the only one there that understood it. And as a result, there were virtually nobody in this group understood the disaster, as I would call it, that the 1099 DA wreaked on crypto taxpayers. It was confusing. It was scary. Many people had 1099 DA forms that were longer than their tax return in terms of pages. So it's just a significant departure from prior 1099 formats, and is something that has to be addressed in order to create a tax system that is seen as fair and reasonable and something that people want to be compliant with. So that's one observation I had, was the fact that the crypto community has stopped engaging with the IRS. Or let me phrase it differently. We're the only company left that's engaging with the IRS on how crypto reporting works. We estimate that approximately 2/3 of all crypto investors are not reporting their cryptocurrency income on their tax return. That's our current estimate. So I would be interested in constructive comments on why you think that people choose not to report or continue not to report their income. I'm trying to compile a proposal for tax amnesty for crypto traders to the IRS. One of the things I learned was that the customer service group at the IRS is hiring, and they have plans to hire, I think, roughly 4,500 people this summer to start to train them, bring them on board, because it takes a lot of months to bring someone on board in the IRS so they can help with next year's tax returns. Another big thing that I learned was that the IRS was ecstatic about how well the tax filing season went for them in terms of not having hiccups and problems. This is because they had let go of 25% of their workforce. They also had major changes related to the One Big Beautiful Bill, which is a new form called Schedule 1A, which the IRS used to address the new Trump tax incentives. There were four major offerings there. One is no tax on tips was addressed on that form. No tax on overtime was addressed on that form. The new Trump accounts on that form as well, and also the removal of Social Security tax for seniors. So very interesting. 64 million people filed Schedule 1A, which out of 160 some million individual tax returns they get, that represents close to 40% of all taxpayers are using this new form to take advantage of these new Trump benefits. And all these changes got designed by the IRS and rolled out to the tax preparation community through the software. And they said it went through very smoothly. They were really beside themselves, honestly, in terms of how smooth the filing season went. Now, they're looking at it from an administrative point of view, not from a taxpayer's point of view. Taxpayer's point of view, he's still wrestling with a lot of concerns and questions, but actually getting the returns filed and processed is incredible. In just a couple days, they're sending out the refund checks. The IRS has made massive improvements in terms of automation. The Secretary Bessent, along with Frank Bisignano, who is the CEO, are significantly focused on using technology to solve the problems at the IRS, which means massive modification of what's going on in the IRS. And they're really modernizing. They're using AI to help them analyze in lots of different ways to help them overcome massive deficiencies in their existing systems that will help them support people better when you call on the phone. They're also using AI to analyze tax returns to identify basic issues as they get filed. So they're using AI to generate COBOL code because the IRS still heavily runs on COBOL. So now they're using AI to generate COBOL. It's a massive renovation and activity going on. Very impressive, to see the IRS using technology first to improve and address their problems. So interesting. Little facts I can share, not strictly crypto related,